I don't know.
Liz went to Reed's this morning. I saw her
Did she
pulling.
leave it?
She doesn't drink black coffee. I think that's just you. Regardless, it's coffee.
Yes.
Well, we're live.
Oh,
Good
well, good morning.
morning,
Good
guys.
morning. Are you cold?
It's frigid this week, you guys.
It's cold.
The second Coffee with MC of 2025. We're ice cubes, but we're here.
I know. I know. At least it's like sunny and
Yeah.
it's good. We're
It
doing
is.
great. We're doing great.
I know.
Sally had a track meet at Croatan. Y'all, the track at Croatan, I know
Outdoors?
well, it's outdoors and it's also like right on the water kind of. I
Oh.
mean, there's some trees. I don't know. It was really, really cold. And I want y'all to know that I wore this big black down coat, and underneath it, I wore this kind of furry, long faux vest thing.
Mhm.
So I wore
Oh,
out to the
yes,
Christmas party. So first of all, I was giant, and second of all, I was like, there's a combination of like faux fur and shine that Chip kept calling me Moira from Schitt's Creek. Yeah, he took a bunch of, as the sun was setting, he was like, I need to take some additional photos of you because you look even more shiny and therefore more like Moira.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's a good comparison.
yeah,
For that situation,
and you know
not
what?
in general.
I was toasty. I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
I was toasty. I had hand warmers in my pocket.
Take that, Chip.
It's exactly right, Moira.
Now my question is, did Sally and her teammates run in those little spandex shorts?
No, they
Oh,
were
thank
allowed
God.
to wear leggings. I know.
Excellent.
I got so tickled because Mary Beth Garrison ran in the last race
Uh-huh.
and came out the 4x4, which is, y'all, the 4x4. It's this one lap around. It's four of them. It's always the very last race. It's so exciting. And MB came out and she had on sweatpants and big sweatshirt. She had this thing over her head that like, it was the funniest. She did great. It was just hysterical.
She ran it?
She
That
ran.
doesn't shock me.
It was so
Mary-
great.
Mary Beth could wear like a trash bag that holds you back and still run
I
as
know.
fast
She's an
as-
incredible athlete and she's so funny. Anyway, that was great. So it was very entertaining.
Well, good. I'm glad you have thawed from that
I have.
and you made it through that frigid track meet. And we're here today to talk about some warm and fuzzy things.
I know. Yeah, we're talking about books today.
This was a recommendation from someone who watches Coffee with MC. She actually called our office and was so sweet. And she was like, can we do some more book recommendations? Because I guess the ones we've mentioned, and I know we've had guests that have mentioned their favorite books too. People really like them. So we're going to do a little deep dive.
I know. And I really would love you guys, if you've read something great, will you drop it in the comments? Because that's my favorite part is learning what other people are reading that they really like.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's something I do with any video now is I go straight to the comments before I watch the video.
Yeah.
I
I actually read the comments a lot as well.
Yeah. So please drop any books that you've been loving, fiction, nonfiction. We're going to hit them all today.
That's right. So I think we're going to start with something. Let's say that you're kind of a non-reader. We're going to start with something that Meg and I both really love because it's an easy just pick up.
Yep.
The author's name is Young Pueblo. That's definitely a pen name. That's not his name.
Maybe.
Right? I really
don't
think
know.
that's a pen name. But anyway, there are three. There might be more.
Mhm. I think he comes out with one like every year. it
So The
seems.
Way Forward is the newest one.
Mhm.
And then Inward, I think Inward was the first one.
Yes.
And then Clarity and Connection is one.
Yep.
But it's so interesting because he divides it by category. So for example, Inward, the categories, there's only a few: distance, union, interlude, self-love, and understanding. And it's just a few little words. It's almost like, it's not a poem. It's like musings.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily full sentences. But this is just so great. You can choose the category, or you can just read it in kind of in a linear fashion, or read one a day, but it makes you think.
Yeah, they're really good. And again, it's not poetry, but it really scratches the itch in your brain. It's your exact thoughts. It's really, I remember reading them and I was like, that's exactly what I think, or that's how I think. And I think it's just, he taps into like the human brain and how we deal with certain situations. I think this one is about maybe a little bit of heartbreak, self-love, like coming back on the other side, clarity and connection. I think I forget what the chapters are about, but
Yeah.
they all have each book has a general theme, and it's just really cool. And you don't have to have a long attention span to get something.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So like I just opened to this, and this one for this is page 70 of Inward, and it says, in one lifetime, we can be reborn many times.
I love it.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not dated, it's not for any day in particular, but anyway, and if you can always flip through and find something where you think that's exactly what I needed to read.
Yep. They're a good nightstand book.
They're a
If before
good-
you go to bed,
yes.
you need to not look at your phone and just read something really easy. Pop it
Yes.
open, read a few pages, and then hit the hay.
Young Pueblo, it's Yung Pueblo.
He's a great follow on Instagram as well.
You're exactly right. You're right. If you don't want to read it, just read it on Instagram. Okay, so that's a really good one. And so do we want to do business?
Let's do that.
Okay, let's start with, y'all, you've heard this, I mean, Atomic Habits, it's just such a winner. We've
Yep.
talked about it. And so one that I also really like, if you've not read Atomic Habits, just pick it up.
And if you have, read it again.
That's exactly right. Read it again. Yeah, totally. The Slight Edge is also, it's not new, but I'm not like a bestsellers person. I don't look at those lists and I just pick stuff out that I think I'm gonna like.
I love that.
The Slight Edge is really good. Again, it's all just about the tiny little difference that makes all the difference.
Interesting. So these two are more like kind of mindset,
Yes.
self, like how to make yourself
Yes.
an elevated version of yourself.
Yes. And so really these both Atomic Habits and The Slight Edge, which is by Jeff Olson, I would say, and this is James Clear, I would say are not really business books. They're really like life books about how to improve your life. Good morning, Chip.
Hi, Chip, you're on Coffee with Lindsay.
Good morning.
You're fine.
Okay. And so then, I know, I love that. Hi. Okay. And so then this is most definitely a
Okay.
business book.
Yes.
Traction. You guys, I don't even know where to start, but it is, if you have a team, if you run a team, if you're a part of an organization, if you're a leader of an organization, it's all about how to install an operating system in your business.
It's very tactical.
It's super
It tells
tactical.
you exactly how to do it, what resources to use. It's kind of a plug and play
It is.
that we've now run our whole business with.
It totally is. And to me, I think you need to be in the right headspace to read this. At a very high level, the biggest concept that I took away from this is the concept of the visionary and the implementer.
Mhm.
So like just understanding for our organization, implementation is not really what my focus is, right? My focus is on kind of big ideas and then letting the people who can actually implement them better than I can implement them. And so certainly at any point in our lives, we may serve both roles or one or the other, but just understanding that it's two different mindsets. I guess that's the biggest.
Yeah, that was a good tip. I forgot that was from that book.
Yeah.
I use that verbiage all the time.
We do. Like who's the implementer?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And who's the visionary? Meaning visionary, I think sounds like airy fairy, but just who's the ideas person behind this and then who's the implementer.
Agree.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
Great one. Okay. Let's do,
I love this.
I know, let's do, y'all, okay. As far as
New
like,
category.
literature, we're moving on to like books.
Fiction? Would this be considered?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are fiction. Both of my picks are fiction.
Okay.
I've talked to you guys, I think, about The Marriage Portrait before with Maggie O'Farrell. It was so good and it was story driven, but also the way she writes is incredible. It takes place in Italy centuries ago. Just a gripping story. And y'all, then I went back and I read this book, The Distance Between Us, also by Maggie O'Farrell. This was very slow. It was very much not story driven. It was about two people and kind of their backgrounds and their stories and how they came together. And it was good.
Was this one set back?
No.
So she
has
has a variety.
Right. So she's totally versatile, a fascinating writer. And
That's the
this
one.
is so good.
Also, the cover is so cute.
It's so good.
Imagine pulling that out of the airport being like, huh,
I loved it.
good cover.
I loved it. And this little thing says it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2023.
Love that.
So anyway,
So it's fairly
I love
new.
this. And then a little bit lighter. This is a little bit fluffy because we all need some room for fluffy,
I don't know about
right?
this title. It's freaking me out a little bit.
I get it. And
Okay.
it's so good.
Okay.
Okay, The Scent Keeper. Fluffy, very accessible, not an arduous read at all. And sometimes we just need those. It's a palate cleanser.
Oh,
It's a palate cleanser.
Okay.
If you've been reading some heavy stuff and you need a palate cleanser, I thought this was excellent. Really cool story, really interesting the way that she approached it. just it's all from the perspective of this girl who grew up with this very eccentric father, and he had all of these kind of vials all around their cabin that she grew up in, and it was all these different scents. They're filled with a scent from different things, and so scents is the overriding it's a theme throughout the book, but it's kind of her coming of age and how she
that's interesting.
It's really,
now I want to know
really
why
good.
and what those are. Okay.
Yeah. So both of these, I've thought about pulling out Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is also great. That's again not very story driven. It's a little bit slow. These are both to me very much like narrative driven, just interesting, exciting.
What I'm hearing is that's your preference with fiction.
I think it
I feel like
is.
I
think it is. I can appreciate something that's a little bit slower and really well written, but I want to be like immediately brought into the story.
I love that.
This, you guys, our team talked about this book yesterday at our team meeting, The Midnight Library. I'll tell you something. I haven't read this yet.
Me either.
I bought it for me to read, and then Sally ended up reading it, and she absolutely loved it. So, highly recommended by our team.
Yep.
If you've read The Midnight Library, will you comment below and tell us what you think?
We heard it's good.
Yes.
That might have to be next for me.
I know. I'm excited about it. Okay, and then our last two are kind of personal growth books. We had a workshop with our team that was all about fierce conversations, and I think we talked to you guys about that, but I don't know. Fierce conversations are hard for me.
They're scary.
Yeah.
And especially if you're not used to having them, going backwards and learning how to have that, I think is even harder than, implementing it immediately, specifically in the workplace.
Specifically in the workplace, and I think at home. I mean, to me, the big takeaway I took from this is like, what are the conversations that you're not having where if you had them, the quality of your life and your relationships would improve significantly?
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, what are you not saying that you just need to say?
Yeah.
And here is a little tactical guide to how to say it.
And exactly, in a respectful, kind, but still direct and fierce way.
And so that the person is ready to listen.
Yep.
I think that's a big thing too. One of the Chip makes fun of me, speaking of Chip, because of like the catchphrases, like I'll say circle back. The business catchphrases that he circle back.
Or beach ball.
That's what I was gonna say. Beach ball is the one. Do you feel like, I feel like we use that a lot
all the time? Yeah.
Yeah, and so the concept is that she talks about in this book is that picture a beach ball. And if you're on one side of the beach ball and I'm on the other side of the beach ball, my main stripe might be green and your main stripe might be red. And so the point is we're so inundated with our stripe on the beach ball that it's hard for us to see the other side, of course, to understand that there is another side, all those things, because you just see your stripe in the beach ball. And so that's a way that we have started to communicate with each other, is to say, okay, I totally get it. Tell me about your stripe on the beach ball. Because here's what my stripe on the beach ball is.
Yep.
Which immediately opens the person up that you're saying, I know I can only see what I can see, but what do you see? Let me be curious about it.
Exactly. I love that.
It's a good one.
It is. This book was really good. Very tactical, applicable to work and to personal conversations that you have.
That's exactly right.
I love it. I forgot about that one.
I know, it's a good one.
It is.
And none of these are new, I don't think.
Oldies, but
we're not trendy, you guys. We're striving to be classics.
No.
Not trendy.
Correct. I'm wearing a turtleneck.
There you go.
For goodness sakes.
There you go. For goodness sake. Okay. And then the last book, this is just, I've loved this book for years. It is so airy-fairy, guys.
Yes.
It is way out there. The title says it all. The universe has your back.
This was an MC Carey book club in 2019.
Was it really? Did you like it?
I did like it. We all read it together. It was back when we had maybe 8 people on our team. We piled into the conference room once a month and we talked about each chapter one at a time. It was airy-fairy, and I think there were so many good nuggets in it that I think everyone implemented in their own way.
It says, the bottom of it says, transform fear to faith. And so I have just like,
oh my goodness.
I know. I have just like, what?
Yeah.
It's just the whole book. But so I think some of the examples and some of the stuff, it's a little, some of it's a little bit much. But the bottom line is that she's just talking about the fact that, as humans, we're so attached to fear. That basically, because fear and worry and trying to get in front of things all the time, it protects us, right? But it also keeps us from really sitting in happiness and
Mhm.
presence and joy
And seeing the color.
and seeing the color.
We were just talking about that yesterday.
Right. Okay. So anyway, I mean, I thought this was great. They have it on Audible. You can totally listen to it on Audible.
Yep. I think she reads it on Audible and she's lovely.
She totally does. She is lovely. Again, I feel like this should come with a disclaimer. Like Walter makes so much fun of me about this book.
Has Walter read the book?
No, he just likes to talk to me about the universe.
The universe.
The
Yes.
universe. I think the word the universe sends him right over the edge.
That's so funny.
So, which I can understand.
Gabrielle Bernstein is also a guest on a lot of podcasts and they're always so interesting. She's very well spoken. Her concepts are really interesting. I think she's just all around a really insightful, interesting person in this space.
I think you're right. There's something about the fact she is not embarrassed by the fact that she is, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she comes right at it and she'll
Yeah.
say something where you think, what?
Yes.
But she says it with such conviction that you think, okay,
Must be right.
right. I know. I mean, that it seems, yeah, it seems acceptable and it makes you think in a different way.
I agree.
She owns it.
I love it. Thank you for that. I love hearing other people's book recommendations, specifically your book recommendations, because you are an avid reader.
I do love to
Avid
read.
reader.
I'll tell you, 2025, I'm gonna read more than I did I really am.
How?
I didn't do a ton of fiction.
Okay. And that, takes your brain, it gives your brain a break.
It
Little
gives your
buffer.
brain a break and it also takes you on a ride that's so unlike being on your phone or watching a series or
Yes.
whatever. It just
Yeah.
it engages you in a whole different way.
Agree. Well, best of luck with
You
that.
know what could be really fun? Wonder if we should do a virtual book club. I know. Do you guys have ideas for a book that we should all read? That'd be so fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh.
Okay, this is totally an unbaked, this is a raw idea right here.
Okay, well, if anyone's interested, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And what book we should read. Okay, this will get me reading too.
Yeah. Maybe we need to get back to doing that.
Okay, MC
I need some
Carey
accountability.
or coffee with books with MC. No, that just doesn't roll off the tongue like coffee.
It does not.
Figure that out later. Do you have anything that's saving your life before we log off?
January is saving my life. I think that, again, it feels like just a chance to start fresh and kind of evaluate things and think about what's working and what I want to retire. And so I think that's, there are plenty of things, as we've said, plenty of things that served me last year that may not serve me in 2025. And I get to choose kind of what they are and what they're not. And so I think thinking about that is a gift.
I love that. Good outlook.
Yeah. How about you?
Mine is a podcast. I'll post it in the comments. I know you on occasion listen to the Him and Her show.
Yes.
With Lauren Bostic and Michael Bostic. They had Mel Robbins on this past Monday. I'm obsessed with Mel Robbins. I've heard all of her podcasts. She has her new Let Them Theory book out. Have you read it yet?
No,
Okay.
I haven't, but I've heard her talk about it a lot.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah. So she was on the Him and Her show, and it was just a good compilation of all of her concepts in one place. Because sometimes on podcasts she'll talk about just like, the 5-second rule or just like one thing that she wants to cover during that podcast. But on this one, it's kind of all of them in a very, pretty package tied up with a bow. And I thought it was really great. A great way to start off the year. So I'll post that in the comments if anyone wants an intro to Mel Robbins or a refresher.
And so what would you say that Mel Robbins, I mean, overall, obviously it's I hate the term self-help. It's so dumb.
I know.
Aren't we all always trying to improve and don't we all want to be
Mhm.
exposed to ideas that move us towards wherever it is that we want to go?
Yeah.
So she's a very general, what would you say that she focuses on?
The thing that sticks with me from her, and I think it carries into all of her concepts, is you are one decision away from a completely different life. So she talks about how like the different decisions that you make, and here's some tactics on how to make a decision on how to stop hitting snooze, or for finances, and for setting up your day for success. I think that concept of you're one decision away from a completely different life kind of weaves through everything that she stands for.
Really, it's really good.
It's a good one.
And this let them concept,
Oh.
I mean, just basically that you can't live your life worried about what other people think. Whatever it is that they think, let them think it.
Yeah. You can't control the things that you have no control over. So just let it happen. Stop worrying about it. Easier said than done. But in her book, she does have
So good.
tips and tactical ways to do that. So I'm interested. I'm ordering it immediately. But it just went on pre-sale, I think Christmas Eve, went on sale Christmas Eve.
Okay, and so yeah, definitely I want to listen to that specific episode of that podcast.
Yeah, it's good. I'll post in the comments.
Yay! You guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm and thank y'all for joining us.
Okay.
Bye.